Japanese train stations are filled with sounds, ranging from the announcements and jingles to sounds used to control the flow of the massive crowds that pass through every day. Welcome to Tokyo Tuesday. If you're a regular viewer, welcome back. So if you've ever been into a Japanese train station, or if you've ever seen a TV show that has a Japanese train station on it, you will know. There are sounds everywhere. Like an abundance of sounds. Announcements and warnings, jingles, you name it. And there might even be a few that you didn't notice. But why? What's with all the sounds? It's actually a much deeper and much more interesting topic than you might think. So much to the fact that when I got into... Let's just jump right into it. I can tell you that later. So I want to start this off with a really cool fact. You may know this, you may not know this. We all know that the speed of light is like the fastest speed ever. But did you know that the first sense that your body processes is actually the sense of sound? Some might argue that the sense of sound is even the most important. I might even argue this because a few years ago, I had actually gone deaf in my left ear for a period of about 6 months. It was a terrifying experience that taught me just how important sound is, but that is a talk for another time. Let's jump into today's content. So I want to start with the absolute basics. The obvious ones that have some not so obvious points hidden within them. Like the jingles. Especially in Tokyo, it's not uncommon to hear little train station jingles like that. Many stations around Tokyo and around Japan use these jingles, but not all day. Midday, they don't use them as much. Rush hour, they definitely use them. In late hour, they definitely use them. But why? What is the purpose of these jingles? Well, as you may or may not know, Japanese people tend to fall asleep on the trains. I've even fallen asleep on a train once or twice. Even, mind you, I made a point of not doing it after that. You learn your lesson really quick. And falling asleep on a train can not only cause trouble for the individual who's fallen asleep, but also for the train company if that person has missed their stop, especially after the last train of the evening. So a small aspect of it is customer service. But we're not even scratching the surface here, so let's keep going. Tokyo's main train line, like the Yamanote line, is even known for using songs like the theme song for Astro Boy at Takadanobaba Station, which is actually the home and birthplace of Astro Boy. Or if you go to Ebis Station, the home of Ebis Beer, which I talked about in this video right here, you can get the theme song to Ebis Beer, which is used in the commercials and everything like that. And different stations throughout Tokyo and Japan have themes, like some of the stations out in Chiba use Disney music, and for a while there were stations using Star Wars music. Anyways, so it was all started by a private rail company here in Tokyo back in about the early 70s as kind of a trial run. I think it was like 1971 or something like that. And since, it has become a very deep and heavily researched topic. So much that songs or chords are chosen specifically to have more of a calming effect, so that when you're disembarking or boarding a very crowded train, it doesn't become overwhelming with all of the people around you. And for anybody who suffers from anxiety, you still gotta get around. The music is meant to kind of ease the anxiety and ease the stress that comes with the crowds. Because I can tell you personally, after over 10 years in Tokyo, it can be overwhelming. Also, they've even done research on the ideal length for these chimes and warnings and tones and everything, and research has shown that the ideal length is 7 seconds. Don't ask me why. I don't know why. And a really cool fact is the concept of using like sensory triggers to let people know when they've arrived at a station was explored so much to the fact that I think back in 2014 or 2016, they were actually researching using smells at different stations to let people know when they were at that station. Just kind of that added layer of service. So you've got the song, and can you imagine pulling into Harajuku Station and smelling crepes or ice cream? Or I think it'd be more challenging for some stations than others, but yeah. But the jingles are really just a small part of it. Just a tiny part. Because these sounds are also used to influence the flow of the crowds through the station. Because in a country where leaving even 20 seconds outside of the departure schedule can cause a company to have to make a public apology. Did you guys hear about that? They left like 20 seconds early in like public apology. Keeping both the trains and the crowds in the stations moving is a big deal. So for that specific purpose, there's an entire series of sounds and announcements that let you know things like when the train is coming, when the doors are about to open, once the train is about to leave, and so on. It is definitely not an uncommon sight to be going down a set of stairs or heading towards a platform in a train station in Tokyo and hear the door announcement, like the door is going to be closing in a few seconds, and watch the crowd of people on the stairs just rush down into the train before the doors close. And these are people that otherwise would have missed that train. And while more people still would have been coming into the station, these people would not have been leaving it, so the station would have gotten even more crowded. When one train runs late, or when one train stops, or train stops for 2 to 3 minutes, that 2 to 3 minutes can make the train station incredibly crowded. So keeping the people moving through, keeping that flow is very important, and sound plays a huge role in that. But amazingly, there's more. Things that you might not even have noticed. Some sounds that were initially put into place to assist the visually impaired. You know, in the same way that those little walkways with the lines and the dots help the visually impaired to get from place to place, stations are filled with little hidden sounds. For example, many stations will play a sound of trickling water to indicate a washroom. It might be on the platform or somewhere in the station, but if you hear like ding ding and like a trickling sound of water, there is a washroom nearby. And sorry, I don't really have footage of the washroom because I didn't feel comfortable walking up to a washroom and pointing my camera towards it. Escalators even have little speakers installed in them so they can make announcements and guide people as to where this particular escalator is going. And to help the visually impaired find stairways and escalators, there are little speakers set up that play a bird chirping noise to let them know that they're heading outside. And even this point, even the bird that they have chosen for this was very well thought through. They use a bird called a flycatcher, which is well known for not only having very beautiful, vibrant colors, but a very sweet sounding song. And that's not even close to being all of it, because they will set up tiny little dedicated speakers in areas of the station that are under construction to make an auditory announcement that that particular area has gotten more narrow than the rest of the platform or station. Wow. And another little neat one that's actually saved me once or twice, and it's actually how I found out about it, is your train pass. You see, there's two types of train pass. You can just fill it up with money and then use the money, or you can pay monthly or by 3 months, 6 months, whatever, and get a train pass that enables you to go a certain route. If you're using your monthly pass, it'll make one beep when you touch it. It'll go beep. But if you're using money off of the card, it'll make two beeps. Beep, beep. The number of times that I have touched it thinking I'm using my monthly pass and then realized, oh shoot, it's a new month, my pass is expired, not because I looked, but because I heard a double beep. And I didn't know about this until I heard the double beep for the first time, and I looked down and I was like, what, why? What's up with the double beep? And I looked down and realized money had come out of my card, looked at my watch and realized, we're in a new month, my train pass had expired, so it was taking out money from the card. So I guess, no, it's not exactly mind control, but it does serve a purpose. It's meant to help you not miss your stop. It's meant to help the anxiety in crowds, create more of a calming atmosphere. It's meant to improve the flow of foot traffic through the station so that things don't get overcrowded. It's there to assist the visually impaired. And I'm sure that there is so much more that I haven't even covered, or probably haven't even noticed. Also, I love this one. The songs that we talked about for the train lines at the beginning, these are way more popular than you might think. Like, they're so popular that you can actually purchase CDs of your favorite train line songs. Some people even use them as ringtones for their cell phone. And one of the most popular alarm clocks ever sold here in Japan uses the sounds of the train lines to wake people up. Also, I love this one too. They sell little keychains that has like the name of your favorite station, and when you push it, it plays the song from that station. I think you can get them at Tokyo Hands or something like that. You know, if you had told me when I started working on this video today that I'd be standing here talking to you for the better part of 10 minutes about the sounds in train stations, I never would have believed you. But getting into it, it was actually a really, really interesting topic for me, and I hope that it was for you too. I just want to say, you guys know that I love interacting with you in the comments. Definitely leave me something down there, and it does mean a lot to me if you guys hit that like button, but even more, if you enjoyed this video, it would mean a lot to me if you would share this and get these Tokyo Tuesdays out there. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to join this week, and we will see you for sure next Tuesday. Bye guys.